So you're a newly licensed agent and you're listening to the media and you hear things like there's a recession coming and there's a housing shortage crisis and homes are going to start to depreciate. What should you do? Should you hang it up before you even get started? Join me for some real talk about why getting into this wonderful industry is still a really good choice for you. There's no denying it, our economy is in a slowdown, and of course an economic slowdown impacts the housing market. But the good news is that the housing market is always the sector that leads the economy out of a slowdown. So I want to talk to you about some opportunities that we see as the market shifts and why we don't have to be scared of this shift and why it does present opportunities to us. So number one, I want to talk about interest rates. Those of you who've been paying attention over the last few months have seen interest rates rise pretty significantly as the Fed has raised interest rates. But you know what? We've got some statistics here from a company smarter than I am. It's called Keeping Current Matters, or KCM. And KCM recently put out a slide that shows that with an economic slowdown, whether recession or just a slowdown, oftentimes that brings decreasing interest rates. So as we look at the chart here, we can see of the previous 6 recessions recorded that in every single recession, interest rates have come down, starting in 1980 from 16% down to 11.8. Even in our short recession, our most recent recession for COVID-19 from February of 2020 to April of 2020 came down from 3.8 to 2.8. So that provides us a lot of opportunities. You know, buyers have gotten a little bit scared about purchasing homes right now because of the rising interest rates. But with a recession comes that opportunity to perhaps bring buyers back into the market who had to exit the market because things were getting too expensive. So that's the first opportunity we can identify. Another opportunity in this shifting market is the market itself and the supply and the demand. So number one, we're starting to see less offers received on each property for sale. So instead of seeing 10 or 12 offers, we may be only seeing 3 to 4. So there's little opportunity there. We're starting to see the amount over the asking price starting to reduce. So buyers are maybe no longer having to offer $40 or $50 or $60,000 over list in order to secure that property. The number of sales is actually slowing as well. And so what that means is that homes are starting to take just a little bit longer to sell. So that demand has reduced just a little bit. So the number of sales and the speed with which those homes get taken off the market is starting to reduce. And along with that slowing of the pace at which homes sell, we're starting to see a little bit more inventory. So it just takes some of the hecticness of working with buyers off the table. And we're not saying that it's gone, but we're saying it's starting to improve, especially if you're a buyer or you're working with a buyer. So that's another opportunity in a shifting market. The last opportunity I want to talk about is the opportunity to educate. This is your opportunity to show your expertise, to share with buyers some of the things that we just went over in terms of the opportunities now that we're in somewhat of a shift in the market. It's also an opportunity for you to educate your sellers. A lot of times sellers equate recession emotionally with really bad things. And in their mind, they think about the 2008 recession and the housing crisis that came as a part of that. But there's a slide here that will show you something entirely different. If we look at this slide, it says recession doesn't equal a housing crisis. So this is monitoring those 6 recessions that we looked at earlier. You can see in only one instance, the 2008 crisis, did we have a decline in the value of houses. We can see appreciation in 4 of the 6, and in 1991 there was a small decline. So you need to educate your sellers and remind them that recession doesn't equal depreciation. What it does oftentimes mean is deceleration. And that's what the experts are predicting, is that over the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen housing appreciate 9 to 10% every single year. As we move into this shift and we move into the potential recession, we'll likely see appreciation coming back to more normal rates of 3 to 4%. So just remember to educate your sellers that we're not looking for depreciation, we're looking for deceleration in the housing prices. So I hope those tips were helpful for you and the opportunities that can be provided in a shifting market. Go out and educate your clients on what's actually happening. Don't let them rely on the media headlines, which tend to terrify rather than clarify. So we'll see you in the next mentoring moment.